May 30, 2018, 10:06:15.
Thank you for calling the office of Scott Barter. Unfortunately, I cannot take your call at this time. However, if you could please leave your name and number, I will return your call as soon as possible. Thank you and have a great day.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Mr. Barter. My name is Jim Kendall. I'm a detective with the City of Kenosha Police Department. I work in the Financial Crimes Unit. I was just giving you a call. I had this some information submitted to the office here in regards to the notary with Mr. Ash, that project that it looked like you were working on with him. And I wanted to touch base with you on this and see if you were willing to speak with me in regards to this. For the appearances of this, I don't believe that this is a criminal forgery, but I wanted to be able to clear this matter up with you. And if you're willing to speak with me, give me a call at my office, 605-5272, 605-5272. I'm in the office Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you reach my voicemail, leave me a time that's best to get in touch with you, and then I'll be sure to reach you then. Thank you. Goodbye.
May 30, 2018, 10:07:36. May 31, 2018, 7:19:58.
Detective Kendall.
Yes, this is Scott Barter calling, returning your call from yesterday.
Hey, Mr. Barter. Yeah, the reason why I couldn't...
In the Ash clan.
I'm sorry?
In the Ash boys, I should say.
Oh, right. So, yeah, I got this referred to me. This looks like I had some communication that you had with the Department of Financial Institutions. Pardon me as I'm looking through this. I think it might have been one of their legal counsels there, Mark Schley.
Right.
So, and this, I talked to Greg Gatormson a little bit. Just kind of what the semantics were of that case, and looks like this was, by all intents and purposes, kind of a mix-up of this lady who had this house under Title 19, and it was going to go under this company, and then she was going to lose her Title 19, and you're trying to affect this for Mr. Ash, and by signing the signatures, that violated obviously the notary public, however you want to phrase it, the framework of how you operate as a notary public, and so it looks like they revoked it, and like I say, it was sent over to us just to see if there's anything that violated state statutes criminally, and I didn't see any intent to defraud there, so I just figured.
And see, did you get my response from the court that it was dated April 13th?
Yeah, let me look through it. Is it an email or is it just a?
I sent it to them, and that was part of one of the Kenosha News articles. But there was no mix-up here. I've got documents showing that he brought in a. I can share this all with you. It was all part of my response. But he brought in initially a power of attorney, but apparently it was no good. But I did all my due diligence. He gives me this power of attorney that clearly says he had the power to do this.
Yeah.
And so then I did that. But in the basis of this lawsuit, he claims that I did this on my own without his knowledge, which I've got the documents, and my attorney does, that clearly he gave me this, and plus he paid me $450, and I got those canceled checks. And then sometime in latter part of April, he said, well, okay, switch the deeds. And so I have a copy of, acting as his agent, with his permission, I did that. Okay. And so when I got to and I have a copy of the transfer form with the state of Wisconsin, I said, well, somebody's got to sign this deed. And he says, I have power of attorney, I'm out of town, or his kid's out of town, mom's in a nursing home, and I'm He's too busy to take care of it, which I did. For that, he paid me $280, which I have. So the whole premise of this thing was based on him trying to get to his mother's, house,
Yeah.
and he didn't have the power to do that.
Right, right. Well, let me ask you this: is it, and you certainly ask your attorney if he's okay with it. Just what you described to me. Would it be possible if you're able to reduce that down to a statement, in a letter? And if you have copies of that document, I can submit this. I have to open up a case, but then, like I said, I've read through this and I don't see any intent to defraud, but I obviously had to reach out to you and speak to you about it. And that seems to be the case here. I can close the case if I have that version that you just described to me, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's an open and shut case.
So here's what happened with the misunderstanding that I had with the Department of Financial Institutions. He called me and said, do you want to respond? And I said, yeah. So I sent him a copy of my response and basically what I told you. And he said, no, I could have done something different. At that time, I didn't have an attorney representing me. So I don't want to get in the middle of anything. I can submit this to you because it's all part of the court thing.
Sure.
So, I mean, but I think it's, in fact, I made a copy assuming that you and I were going to get together here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus his power of attorney. It might be 8 or 9 pages here, plus everything else that I have. So, I mean.
Right. And that's the gist I'm getting from you is, based on this power of attorney, I had the belief that I was able to operate or affect, the goal here, the transaction of putting this in, the quick claim deed, and that's, why I signed the signatures and notarized it, because that's what I was operating under the belief of, and, to me that's good enough. So.
Well, the other thing is, in no way, shape, or form was I ever a shareholder, a officer, or anything. And one of the checks paid $280 to change the deeds. He paid for it out of his newly formed corporate checking account.
Right.
And I benefited from this nothing. I got nothing of this. So there was no fraud intended.
Right.
What the guy told me to do.
Right. If you're able, and like I said, I know you got to talk with your attorney and get his approval, stamp of approval to do such a thing, but that would really make things easy for me because then I can open this up and close it out as in the same day, and that I reviewed it and I didn't see any violation of the forgery statute.
Let me ask. I'm going to add one more thing here. After this came out in the newspaper, a good friend of mine, Steve Casey, that owns the funeral home, called me and said he had dealings with Mr. Ash under the same premise. Ash goes into him to pre-plan a funeral, and with the same bogus power of attorney.
Yeah.
So he sets this up, and I can understand he gives him a check a couple days later for $20,000, and the funeral's only $10,500. All right. So then a couple days, at some point after that, short time, he gets a call from David Ash's supposedly incapacitated brother, Bernard, who's listed in this power of attorney, and says he didn't have this power to do this, and I want my money back. And Casey had put this in one of those funeral trusts with the estate as the beneficiary, and so in lieu of a lawsuit, the insurance company paid him the $20,000. Now, as to who got the 20 and where it came from, I suggest that you talk to Casey because, as I told my attorney, here's a pattern that this guy has done this before.
Sure.
And that's what upset me, and I get all the crap.
Yeah, no, I understand, and I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible too. This is like I say, it's the matter here is whether this was a criminal forgery or not, and as you described, there was nothing gained by you. There was no intent to defraud, and you had this multiple page power of attorney that you thought was
Valid.
was valid, and it wasn't, and that is good enough for me. So, like I say, to bounce that off of your attorney there, see if he gives you the permission to put something like that down. It doesn't, it's just doesn't, I don't want it on a subway napkin or anything like that, but if you could put it down on a sheet of paper and put your autograph on it, along with a copy of the power of attorney that you had there, and I can accept that, and like I say, open this up and close it in the same day. So
let me see here. Okay, I've got a copy of of exactly what I gave the court. It's 5 pages.
Yeah.
This one doesn't have my signature. I can sign this, and combined with there's 1, 2, 3 pages of the copy of the power of attorney, and then there's a couple of checks that he paid me. So it's really, Mr. Barter, what I'm looking for is really somewhat. It's what you described to Mr. I don't know if that's Schley, the DFI gentleman, and then in that was the explanation. And like I say, I had to reach out to at least what was your version of that and confirm it, and that's the same. So I've got a copy of our correspondence, so
okay.
I can top this all off to you this afternoon if you want.
Yeah, and like I say, if it's just something that you're able to, this is what I explained to the DFI. There's nothing different. There's nothing that's changed. And here's a copy of this, and that'll be just fine.
And the other thing is, I might add, is once this is all settled, my attorney was going to file an appeal for that, because whether he's successful or not, I'm not sure. And I'm not sure that Thompson and they're even going to pursue this, because if they did, my attorney was going to put him on the stand under oath, and he'd have to testify that this whole deal he lied to begin with. So I'll get that. And should I just drop it off this afternoon?
Yeah, that's fine. Just I'm in the fraud unit. You just let him know that, hey, I spoke with Detective Kendall this morning, and I'm just dropping this off for him.
What's your name?
It's Kendall.
Right.
And that'll be fine. And like I say, I open it up and close it. So that's all I'm interested in.
I have to come downtown this afternoon about 2:30, so I'll put it all in an envelope with your name on it.
All right. That sounds good. I appreciate you calling me back, Mr. Barter. All right, sir. You have a good day.
You too. Bye.
May 31, 2018, 7:30, 52.